What is up, Jovonne's channel, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, hi, my name is Jovonne. For today's video, we are going to do a new series. It's going to be called Jovonne's Talk. Excuse me. So here on Jovonne's Talk, I'm going to be talking about different topics. So today's topic is going to be dealing with loss. I'm going to tell you how I dealt with my loss that I have went through, and just different topics that I feel that are relevant and different topics that I want to speak on so that you get to know me and that I can hear some of your stories. But before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to turn on post notifications so that you don't miss an episode here on Jovonne's Talk. And make sure you tell a friend to come and join my family. All of my social media platforms are in the description box down below. I will put them in the intro card and they will be on the screen so that you can follow me and join me that way. And without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, y'all, so I got some hot chocolate, so make sure you grab something cozy to drink, get you whatever you want to snack on. So I am going to tell you how I dealt with the loss of my mother. She passed in 2015, so September 3rd, 2015. I'm gonna walk you through that day. I'm gonna walk you through kind of the last, 7 years? The last 7 years of my life, of my experience, how it was. I do over here on a piece of paper have, so we're gonna talk about the 7 stages, and I'll put each stage that we're gonna talk to about, and I'll put them right here so that you can see it. So we're just gonna go through them each stage. So number 1 is shock and denial. Number 2 is pain and guilt. Number 3 is anger and bargaining. Number 4 is depression, reflection, and loneliness. Number 5 is the upward turn. Number 6 is reconstruction and working through. And number 7 is acceptance and hope. But before we get into that, I am going to give you a little backstory. So my mom was born in Philadelphia, born and raised in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. She met my dad here in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. They got married September 25th of, it was in the 90s. I don't really remember. But they got married September 25th. I think it was like 1992, 1990. Don't quote me on that. I just know they were married that day. Raised my beautiful sister in Alabama where we lived. And then they had me June 23rd, 1996. And 2 weeks after I was born, we moved back to Pennsylvania. We moved, and then about, I want to say when I was like 2 or 3, we moved into the house that I grew up in. So I want to say my mom was really that parent that was into her kids. Like, she really was in tune to us. She really made sure that we were well taken care of, that she spent most of her time with us. She really was that mom that wanted to have that one-on-one bonding experience. So she did a lot of things with my sister, and then she did a lot of things with me for our bonding. And I really do appreciate that, because our bond was like this. Our bond was so strong, and so it was just so wonderful to see the bond that we had, and looking back and seeing like the bond that she created with my sister and the bond that she created with me. It was really fun to look at. So I want to say round about 3rd grade, by the time I got into 3rd grade is when my mom like stopped really being involved in school, and she was always involved in any school thing that I had, like the school store where you would buy things. She would come and volunteer for that. She would be at class parties. She would chaperone some field trips and stuff like that. So to kind of see that at a young age from her slowly like disengaging, I knew that there was something going on, but I didn't quite know how, like what was going on. So I was about 8, and I want to say my sister was about 13-ish. Yeah, I don't know exact ages. So if I'm like 13-ish or something like that, I don't know exact ages, but I do know I was fairly young when it happened. So I went through my whole elementary school time having to see my mom like battle what she was going through, and at the time we didn't know what it was. She was misdiagnosed with multiple lymphoma, and so we thought it was that, and we did all of the type of treatment that you can think of, radiation, chemotherapy, everything under the sun to try and get her better, and we were finding out that it wasn't working. So numerous doctor's appointments to Fox Chase and trying to figure this out and trying to figure out this, and you know, having to grow up a little faster, because my dad worked as a doctor. My sister was out on her own by the time I fully became a teenager, so having to help my mom with dinner, or having to help my mom go to the grocery store, going to the grocery store for my mom was, you know, the life that I lived, and it was an okay life because I loved my mother and I was doing what I was doing for her. So a lot of the time it was me and my mom. It was me and my mom, and we were cooking, and we were, you know, I was helping her clean, and I was helping her cook, and I was helping her with laundry and stuff like that. And throughout her sickness, she would always apologize and be like, I'm sorry that I couldn't give you a normal life like your sister and take you to amusement parks all the time. And you know, it was really sad to kind of hear your mom apologize for, you know, not giving you the life that they always dreamed of. And I would always tell her, like, hey, like, you don't have to apologize. Like, I had a great life. Like, I had a good childhood. I had the things that I wanted. I had from A to Z, 1, 2, 3, a million to 100. So yeah. So probably when I got into like middle school and high school, I really knew like, okay, like this is something serious. And to see her go through that, I'm trying not to like get emotional, because to see her go through that and to hear countless doctors saying they don't know what it is, and it's not this and it's not that, but we're gonna keep doing tests and tests and tests, and it was like it's like when we would get one foot in the door, we would be knocked back 6 spaces, and it was so sad to see. And it was a lot, but okay, so it was a lot to see that, and it was a lot to hear as a child, and it was a lot, and it was also a lot on my friends too and myself, because it was like, hey, do you want to go out? And it's always like, no, my dad's not home, like he's at work, and I don't want my mom to be in the house by herself and have to get soup and stuff like that. So fast forward to 2014. 2014 is the year that I graduated high school. Sorry. Okay, so 2014 is the year that I graduated high school, and she was there for that. She did not want to miss that. She didn't care that her feet were hurting. She did not care. Actually, let's backtrack a little bit. I forgot to tell y'all that she had broke her foot in like the early 2000s. Again, please don't like quote me on all, like if I say dates, I don't remember, but I know in the early 2000s, I was a little girl. She had broke her foot and she wanted to get breast implants. My dad said no, and you know, your bones are the window to your soul. And that's how we think the sickness got in. We think that something happened and, you know, her bone did not heal properly, and that's how she ended up getting really sick. But jumping back to 2014 is when I graduated high school, and right after that, she had got a swim spa, so like a jacuzzi, type of swim spa, and she was in it every single day. I'm talking about every single day, from afternoon to sundown and into the night. She was always in the jacuzzi, and you know, not thinking, she wouldn't turn off the air conditioner. So around my birthday is June 23rd, like around my birthday, she caught pneumonia and had to spend 40 days in the hospital. And that was kind of hard because we didn't know then if she was gonna make it. And so to watch her mom go from ICU to recovery floor to regular floor unit, and then be discharged and have to go into a physical therapy place, that was very hard for me as a teenager. And you know, if you have anybody that you guys really care about and you see them go through that, that's very hard. I cried, you know, every day, and I asked my dad, and you know, my sister would come up from Florida, you know, occasionally, but I cried with my dad, and I said, you know, at this point, I don't want to lose mom, but she's fought a battle for 13 years, and I know she's tired, but I don't want to lose her. And looking back, I was, you know, at some points very selfish and not thinking about her and not thinking about how hard she was fighting. And so I was being selfish, but yeah, she ended up getting better, and she ended up doing really well. And she was planning a trip to go see my sister in Florida, to see her place. And so we were, you know, trying to get her down there. She wanted to drive her car, and we booked auto train so that she can drive to Virginia and then get on the train and then drive to Orlando, and from Orlando to Miami and stuff like that. So she left for that trip around August, or yeah, like middle of August, because my sister's birthday was the 19th. So yeah, so August of 2015, she went down there, and I was supposed to go with her, but I was working and I couldn't get off for that week, but I was gonna get off for the week after to go down so that I can spend time with my sister and my mom, and we can go places. So this is where we're gonna get into the paper and everything. So September 3rd, I had woke up like any normal day. I woke up. First thing I did was call her to say good morning. I was like, good morning, Mom. How are you? How is everything going? Now, mind you, I'm going to pause right there. She was having some stomach problems before she left. My dad was asking her, like, do you want to go to the doctors to get checked out? Do you want to go to the hospital just to make sure it's nothing serious? And she was like, no, I don't want to. And so he was like, please, let's go. And she was like, no, I'm not going to go. So he didn't push it anymore. He didn't want to upset her, which I understand. And, you know, he didn't want to tell me what was going on, which I understand. That's at the time grown up business. So you gotta want to keep your children out of it and not, you know, scare them. So, you know, now we're back to that she's down there. I call her, good morning, how are you? Good, your sister just got me breakfast, yada, yada, yada. We're finna do this, we're finna do that. So I told her, I was like, well, yeah, I'm finna get ready for, I'm getting ready for the day, and later on I'm gonna go to cheer practice because I was a coach. So I was like, later on I'm gonna go get ready and head to the field and go to coach the girls that I was coaching. So she was like, oh, I love you, and I'll talk to you soon, and I can't wait to see you. You're my baby girl, and I miss you, and I love you, and I can't wait for us to spend time together. And I was like, you know, me too. So we hung up, and then I wanna say everything was good until about like mid-afternoon. I don't know the time. That day was very, very, very blacked out, and a lot has been erased from my memory so that I don't remember. But around mid-afternoonish, right before, I know practice was at like 3, so right before 3, so like 2 o'clock, between 2 and 2:45, I would say. my sister called and she was like, Dad, something's not right with mom. She's complaining about her stomach hurting. She does not want to go to the hospital. She's just like delirious. So my dad was like, you know, gotta call 911. You gotta get her to the hospital. You gotta let her know like she has to go. And so he was like, call me back, keep me updated. And so he called back, she called back, and this is when I was like really like listening, because I'm like, what are y'all like talking about? I just talked to her, she sounded fine, like what's going on? So this is going to be number one, shock and denial. So I was really like confused hearing this conversation, because I'm like, what are y'all talking about? Like, I just talked to her not too long ago in the morning and she was fine and she was eating breakfast and she was, you know, get ready for the beach or wherever y'all were going. So like, what's going on? And so at that point the ambulance had arrived, and my mom couldn't give her social security. My sister had to look in her purse and stuff like that. And so they got into the hospital, into the ambulance, my sister said, and the ambulance was trying to take her to the farthest hospital. My sister's like, there's one down the road, let's take her there. And so they got her there, and now me and my dad are like, we're in fight or flight mode. Like, we're trying to figure out what's going on. We're trying to book flights. We are trying to get my dog at the time to the boarding place so that he's fine, so that we can get there and we can actually be there as a family and try to figure out what was going on. So I was in charge of taking our family dog, to the boarding, which I did. We did an emergency boarding. Thank God to a Horsham veterinarian for doing that. I appreciate that. So we boarded him, and while I'm on the way, I get a phone call that, you know, hey, I just want to let you know your mom is coded, but you know, they're working on her. And I'm like, well, what are you saying? Like, what do you mean? And so my dad was like, I don't know, but you just need to hurry because it's not looking too good. So I get to the vet, I give our dog, and I'm like, I really gotta go, it's an emergency, like whatever paperwork, please just leave it until I get back. There's something going on with my mom in Florida. I really gotta go. I really gotta get to the airport. And I'm not even kidding. I literally walked out of the door and I had got the call. Now, mind you, on the way there, I'm like, please, Lord, please, like, please, if I needed you at any time, it's now. Like, please bring her back. Please, please bring her back, and please help her get through this. Like, I didn't watch this lady go through so much, and I didn't played like a whole caretaker role, and I still need my mom. I'm only at the time 19, so it's like I still need my mom. I still need to go through things. I still need her here. I still need advice. Like, I still need love. Like, I just want to lay in her arms and, have her kiss my head and play with my hair and just be that little girl that I was. And so not even I want to say 5 minutes after I got out of the vet, got in the car, put my seatbelt on and turned the car on, is when I got the phone call. And my dad and my sister was just hysterical. And I'm like, what's going on? Like, please, somebody say something. Please, somebody talk to me, please. And I'm like, please, because you're scaring me. Like, what is going on? And my dad was like, baby, we just need you to get back here so that we can go. And I'm like, where are we going? Like, why is nobody saying anything to me? What's going on? And so it was at that point that he didn't even have to say it. I just knew, and I was like, in the back of my mind, I was like, the unthinkable has happened. And actually, I didn't get that phone call. Hold on, I'm sorry, y'all. I'm trying to think. No, the phone call I got in the car was that she coded 2 more times after the first time I had heard. And my dad was saying, like, we really have to get going and get to Florida to see what's going on. And I like rushed down the road. I remember doing 50 and a 25, and I was just praying. I'm like, please don't let a cop pull me over, because he's gonna have to ride with me to the house and give me the ticket and do whatever, because I need to get to my mom. And so we get there, we're getting our flights together, we're getting, carry-on bags packed, just some clothes so that we can get there. And my sister called back, and that's when we got the call. And she was hysterical, and I could hear it, and I can hear the pain in her voice, and the just, you know how when something traumatic happens to somebody, they go pale? It's like I could hear that in her voice, like just her body, my sister's body, draining, and her just going ghost. Like, I could see it and I could hear it in her voice. And she was crying, and our boyfriend at the time was there, thank God, but like family wasn't really, like, our family wasn't there. And she was like, the doctor had said, like, he came in and he asked them to leave because it was serious and they needed the room. And then he came out and he was like, I'm so sorry, and there was nothing that they could do. And I lost my mind. I remember running outside and just throwing my phone to the grass and laying on it was September, but it was still hot, and I just remember laying on the hot asphalt and feeling this part of my arms burning, and just couldn't see because of the tears in my eyes. And we were having work done on our house, and the contractor was very good, like, family friend. So him and my dad came, and they like lifted me up, and my dad was like, baby, let's go. And like, when I got in the house, again, being in shock, I remember just flipping our kitchen table over, and I'm like, no, she's not. Like, y'all are just, we're in a dream and we're gonna wake up, and this is not true. Like, this is not true. And I'm like, no, like, the doctor's wrong. Like, he's wrong, Dad, he's wrong. And my dad was like, baby, no, like, you have to accept it. And I'm like, I can't. So we got our stuff and we left, and blah, blah, blah. So number 2 is the pain and guilt. So the pain of having to call family on the way to the airport and let them know what had happened was enough to send me off. Like, to have to tell family, like, hey, my mom just passed away, and I don't have all the details, but this and that, and trying to figure out the rest of my life, and going from having 2 parents to now 1. It was like painfully like nauseating almost. It was painfully nauseating to like in a split second lose your parent, and you're like, whoa, what's going on? And then the guilt I felt because I was supposed to leave with her that day that she left, and I didn't because I couldn't because of work. But it was guilting me, and I was like, well, maybe I should have just left and not care what work said or took the consequences of getting fired. But when you have that first time job, and it's like, you want the standards, you want to abide by the standards and stuff like that, I didn't want to mess that up, so I just played the part. But it was like, I felt guilty because I let you go down here, and then you were sick. And it's like, I know my sister is a wonderful person, and it was like I felt guilty because I almost abandoned my family. Like, I was there with my mom, you know, most of my all of my life, but like I played that caregiver role from, you know, middle school all the way through my high school years, and it was like I abandoned her. Like, I abandoned my job, I abandoned my mom. Like, who am I? Like, why would I let this happen? I abandoned my dad. Like, he, you know, wanted me to look after her, and he trusted me, and it's like I let her go, and it was crazy. So it led me into number 3 with anger and bargaining. So one side of my body was angry with myself, and then the other was angry with my dad because right before she left, she was experiencing belly pain, and, you know, he didn't tell me, and I knew something was up when she didn't get up to drive to Virginia, and my dad was like, "Is your mom up?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Well, baby, you gotta wake her up. Like, she's gonna miss her train." But he didn't tell me that the night before she was experiencing this belly pain, and I wouldn't have woken her up for, I wouldn't have woken her up to go. I would have woken her up and made her go to the hospital and say, you know, "I heard you were having belly pain. We're not leaving until we figure out what's going on. You're not leaving until I come with you." So I was angry at my dad, and I was angry at myself, and I was just angry at the world. I was angry at my job. I was angry at every single body. I was, you know, angry. Just to hear the word mom made me angry because it was like, I don't have a mom. Like, I don't have my mom. So, you know, to hear that word, it was like, stop using that word. Like, you shouldn't get to be happy because I'm sad. You know, I went through this, and I know I was being selfish, but when you're going through that loss, you're just angry at the world, and you just want the world to be quiet for a minute. And that's what I wanted. Like, I was bargaining with the world to just be quiet, like, just freeze for a minute. That's what I wanted. I was bargaining, like, please freeze, like, just stop in time so that I could process this. But it was like everything was go, 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 and it was like funeral planning and this and that, and I was angry with the higher power, and it really took my belief in the higher power. And like, yes, we're all going to pass on someday, but I was like, my mom was 50. My mom was 50, and it was like, why would you take her? There's so many bad people in this world. There's so many bad things going on, and yet you took the little bit of sunshine that I saw in my life as, you know, this great being. And like, I used to think she was a superhero when I was younger, and I was like, why would you take this superhero in my life? Why would you take that from me? And so it just didn't make sense. And that's where I was like angry. I was angry again at myself, at my dad, at the world, at my cousins, because they all still have their mom. And a part of me now still feels a little bit angry. Like, how am I supposed to go through, you know, the rest of my adulthood, you know, getting married, raising a kid, like doing all this without a mom? And it's like, well, somebody answer me, or like, why didn't losing a parent come with an instruction manual or something? Like, why is this like this? So number 4 was depression, reflection, and loneliness. I went through a really big state of depression because, as I said, me and my mom were very close. We were best friends. Like, we were very, very close. When you saw my mom, you saw me. A lot of people, like, family-wise, didn't want to watch me when I was younger because I was so attached to my mom, and I wouldn't let her go out of my sight. So I was very lonely when she passed. Even though I had my dad, I had my sister, I had my new baby niece at the time, my dog Simba. It was just like, and my nephew Peanut, who's a dog. It was just like, I'm lonely. Like, there's a part of me that's not here. There's a hole in my heart, and filling it with all this happiness and like trying to mask my happiness and trying to do things that would distract me didn't work. And it was like, I'm just lonely. Like, I feel lonely. I was looking lonely. I was just going through it. And reflection, I was reflecting on the times of, the good times, the bad times, and reflecting on, my mom was a very good woman. She instilled very good lessons in my sister and myself. And why her? I was reflecting on, how was I going to do this without her? How was, my dad going to survive without her? How was my sister going to survive? How are we going to survive as a family? Like, our glue piece is gone. And so, my depression lasted for a little bit. It lasted because right after she passed, we moved in 2016 to Alabama, and then moving from the place that I love and that I grew up in Pennsylvania, moving from that to moving to Alabama, I lost all my friends and had to go to a new college and, had to start life over. And it was like, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this without my mom. I can't do this without, picking up the phone and hearing her voice. I was so used to just picking up the phone every time after work and hearing her voice and hearing her say, what time are you coming on home? Or hearing her ask me, how was a day at school? So it was like, how am I supposed to switch and be happy and do all this stuff? So living in Alabama was kind of a depressing time. For 6 years, I had to go through, living without a mom and figuring myself out and figuring out the woman that I wanted to be and how do I become that woman. And I really took lessons from her and tried to instill them in myself. And yeah, so it was hard. So the upward turn. So I would say it took a while for me to like get to the other side and leave that sad state that I was in for so long. And it was like, I had to sit back and really look at myself in the mirror and say, do you think this is how she would want you to look and be and act? Like, no, she wants you to live your life to the fullest. She wants you to do and accomplish things that she knows that you can do and that she would be proud of you for. So I really had to pull myself up out of the mud and really like work and grind hard and just, tell myself that there's gonna be days that you're gonna be upset, and there's gonna be days when you cry, and there's gonna be days when you scream and when you yell, but you gotta do this. You have a new niece, so you gotta show her how, you gotta make that bond that you have with your mother with your niece. And you got to be there for her. You have to be there for your sister. You have to be there for your dad. You have to show your dad, do the accomplishments that that will make him proud. And, just be the loving daughter that your parents and your sister know that you can be. So it did take a while. It took almost like, I want to say 2.5 years to really like, come out. I was really masking my emotions. I was always coming up to Pennsylvania for holidays, to kind of get away because she's buried in Alabama. And so I would come up here and hold on to that little bit that, this is home and she's coming back, or I'm going to go home and see her. So it took a while, but the upturn came out really, really good. And I'm really proud of myself. And I know that she is somewhere smiling hard on me for the accomplishments that I've made and the choices that I've made and the lifestyle and the life path that I'm going down. I know that she is just ecstatic and she's jumping up and down and she's giving air kisses and air hugs and air high fives and yelling good job, and I can feel it. I can feel her doing it. So number 6 would be reconstruction and working through. So again, like I said, I had to push myself. I had to really like push and like say, come on, like let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Like you can do this. Like let's show the world, and let's show yourself, and let's show your family, and show your mom that even though she's not here, you're still trudging through the mud, and you're still doing what you're still doing what you need to do, and you're still living your best life, and you're putting your best foot forward. And I'm really proud of myself, y'all. Like, I graduated college with a bachelor's degree, and that took a lot. It took a lot because, again, I didn't have her. So the first, the first year was kind of hard, and I was trying to get my footing down, failing a couple of classes, changing majors left and right. And it was like, like I don't want to do this. But May 2020, May 13th of 2022, 3 days after her birthday, is when I walked across the stage. And y'all, I'm trying not to cry because I literally saw that as a big accomplishment, and I saw that as, a birthday gift to her. Oh, I'm gonna cry. I saw that as a birthday gift to her, as like, I did it, Mom, and I want you to be proud of me. I want you to see the accomplishments that I have done, and I always want you to know that I love you. So the walk across the stage and to have my family there, screaming so loud like she would do, it really made me feel good. And I felt her energy there. I felt her presence there. I felt everything that I could about her there, which was really, really good. And all I can keep saying is a birthday gift. So 5 days after her birthday, 2 days after I walked across the stage, so May 15th, I'm gonna put the pictures in. I drove down to her gravesite, and I got all dressed up in my cap and gown, and I took pictures with her mausoleum as if, she was there. I, hugged her mausoleum as if I was hugging her. I sat on the mausoleum as if I was sitting on her lap. I gave it a kiss. I whispered to it, and I said, I did this for you. I did it for myself, but in retrospect, I did it for you, and I hope you're happy for me, and I hope that everything that I've done to this point has made you proud. And so that also felt good to get dressed up and to have that special time with her in her passing. Of, I know you're not here physically, but spiritually you're here, and I'm going to get dressed up, and I'm going to show you what the graduation looked like. It was really special, and I got to take a picture with my grandma, my dad's mom's grave tombstone that I didn't get to meet. So that also felt very good as well, because I know, like, if I got to meet my grandma, would be ecstatic to see that accomplishment and stuff like that. So and then also, moving to Pennsylvania, my mom always knew that this is the place that I would call home. She said it from when I was a little girl, that this is what you're gonna call home. You're gonna call this home. And I always want you to know that you are from Alabama. You were born there. You have ties there, but I get it. That's not home. This is home. So she was like, whenever you feel like you need to go back home and live, if I'm not alive, please do it, and please make yourself happy. And so just to have that too, and this accomplishment of being able to have a house here, have a house and work a big girl job. I really feel like I worked through everything, the sadness, and there are days that I get sad and I get quiet, and I just push back a little bit. But, there are other times when I sit and I reflect and I'm like, gosh, if she was here, like, she would be ripping and running through this house, decorating it, running to stores, just buying all types of stuff. And, I really appreciate the woman that she has made me, that she has molded me into, because without her and my father and my sister, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. I wouldn't have the go-getter energy that I have, and I wouldn't have the strength and the courage and the audacity and stuff like that to do the things that I want to do, and the stubbornness from her, and the hard-headedness, and all the things that just make me is because of her. And everybody says I look like her, I'm shaped just like her, I'm built just like her, and it's like I see it and I just look in the mirror sometimes and I think, wow, like, and I look at my niece and she acts just like her, and it's like, wow, you might have left, but like, you didn't really leave. You're still here. I'm looking at you through, like, I'm looking at me and I'm seeing you, and I'm looking at her and I'm seeing you through her, and I'm seeing the way she acts, and she acts, like me when I was a kid, but also like my mom and a little bit of my sister. And it's just like, so I know she's here. I know she, there are sometimes I feel her, like, and this might sound crazy, but like, I feel like touches, sometimes, and I feel like energy, like that she's here. And yeah, so the last one, y'all, is acceptance and hope. And I just want to say that although she's gone, and like physically, she's not gone emotionally, she's not gone spiritually. So, she always stops by in my dreams, and there's always like a little, if my dream is not like really about her, there's always a sign in my dream that she's here, that she's here, she has stopped by, she loves me. I see signs in the clouds. She knows that I like elephants, and time after time I'll see an elephant in the cloud, or I'll see like a heart or a dog. So I know she's here, and I know she's trying to make signs to say, baby, I'm here, and I love you, and I see what you're doing, and I'm proud of you. So it was very hard in the beginning to accept that she was gone, and that I lost a very big part of myself. But slowly but surely, I gained myself back, and not fully, but I want to say I'm happy with the person I am. Yes, I will always have that hole in my heart, and nothing will fill it, but I know that, and I hate when people say this, but I'm gonna say it. I know that she is somewhere that is not here, and she is no longer in pain, and that is all I ever wanted for her, to be pain-free, to be able to go to sleep and not have to wake up because your feet are just bothering you, and your body hurts, and you're tired of going to doctors and being let down. So it took me a very long time to not be selfish, and to not think about myself, and to think about her, and to think, Jovonne, she's pain-free, she's, she doesn't have to be let down, she doesn't have to cry, like, her family was real jerks, and it was like, she doesn't have to deal with them, and she could be happy for once, and she can put all the emotional weight that she was going through on you. And it was like, I had to accept that, and I had to accept that, you know, she's gone, but she's not gone in here, and she's definitely not gone in there. So I had to accept that. And the hope that I felt was that I hope that she, wherever she is, whatever she's doing, whether she's living through me, whether she was reincarnated into my niece, whether she is a secret angel, whatever. I just hope that she knows how much I loved her, and she knows how much that I would fight for her, and she knows how much I would, you know, if she was here, I would go to the end of the earth. And I hope that, you know, looking down and looking back at life, I just hope that I did everything in my power to make her happy and to be that daughter that she loved and that she cherished, and that the accomplishments were enough, and that, you know, I just hope that there is no more pain for her. I hope that she will always continue to bless me, and that she will always continue to bless our family, and that she will always continue to look out for our family, and that she will look out for her future grandchildren. And I just want to say that when I do have a kid, a daughter to be exact, I want to take her middle name and incorporate it somehow into my kid's name. I do have, you know, as every girl would do, a list of names, girl names and boy names, but I do have a name that I want to pair with her name and my sister's middle name. So I do have that, and I'm holding on to that name, and I'm locked in with this name. I have, you know, yelled it out. So to my future husband, like, I have locked this name in. There is no changing my mind, and I think I love this name already. So, but guys, I just want to let you know, if you have ever, you know, lost somebody that you love, that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you do have to go through the darkness for a little bit. So please know that I am here. I want to hear all of your stories. Please put them in the comment box down below if you want to leave me a long story so that I can read it. Please put it in. Please go to my Instagram and just DM me. I would love to read your story. I would love to connect with y'all on a personal level. So again, all of my social medias will be in the description box down below, and they will also be in the intro card. I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for sharing, well, listening and letting me share this story with you. And remember that if you did lose somebody, you're gonna go through the darkness for a little bit, but there is light at the end of the tunnel, and you are going to make it. You are going to succeed, and you are going to make that person, wherever they are, so happy for you. I'm gonna be happy for you. So I love you guys so much, and I will see you on Jovonne's Talk episode 2. Have a good night. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and turn on post notifications, and make sure to tell a friend to come join the family, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.